Hello, my friends, and welcome to Dorney Park's Halloween Haunt. That's right, the scares and chills have returned to Lehigh Valley. And tonight, we're going to be checking out 7 haunted mazes, 5 scare zones, and 4 shows if we include the opening Scaremony. We're going to find out what Hecate's has been up to in the last year. There appears to be 1 new haunted maze and 2 new scare zones. R.I.P. to Steamworks, loved you. So there is no scare zone at the front of the park. But while the sun is still out, we're going to check out the first show, the Ghouling Organs.
Ladies and gentlemen,
ghouls and gals,
welcome
to the Ghouling Organs. Prepare to be put under our spell.
There's no turning back now. Prepare yourselves, foolish mortals, as we wake the dead from their graves. I think it's time we give this show a little life. Here we go. And a 5, 6, 7, 8.
Say a prayer, little one, to forgive my son, to include everyone. I took you in, home within, keep you free from sin, took the sin that he could. Sleep with what I have been, gripping your pillow tight. Exit night, answer night. Take my hand, to never, never end.
After that show ended, I came up here for the opening Scaremony, and something new to me did not happen last year. There are scare actors kind of sprinkled throughout this crowd here, just kind of messing with each other. It's pretty wild. And they are really from all over. I wonder if there's going to be some sort of like send-off during the opening Scaremony.
Feel that, Dorney Park? The chill up your spines, the dread creeping into your hearts. The creatures of Halloween Haunt are about to invade your midways. I am the mother of chaos, Hecate, and I love you, dreaming of ways to torment you and fill your heads with nightmares. Your fear is what keeps the spirit of Halloween Haunt alive, and I've got more terrors to horrify you on this frightfully haunted night. Hollowed out as I speak. The family butchers have moved in and are ready to show off their new roadside stop and shop. Stop and shop. And finally, you'll be happy to know I created a whole new wasteland for you to explore. Dystopia and its caustic inhabitants will surely give you an unforgettable welcome. So, face your fears. Halloween Haunt is officially open!
So they really changed up Illuminightmares from last year, because last year I remember it was strictly just a drum show. I really like the lighting that they did with like the, I don't know, the UV and stuff like that. But then they added dancers this year, which it had a lot of songs that reminded me of like a Dead Man's Party from Fright Fest. But overall, that was a lot of fire. And there was just like not knowing where to look really. I feel like that was a lot of dancers for the size of the stage, but it still worked given the choreography. However, I want to put some blame on the audience for kind of being a little dead there. They weren't very responsive. I don't know what to make of that, because I thought there would be more like hooting and hollering for all the stuff that was on display there. Anyway, drumming was awesome. I love me a good snare drum routine. The dancing was awesome. I did not expect the stuff with the chairs. But next up, we gotta head over now to CarnEvil.
Ice cream! Fresh hot ice cream right here, my friends! Fresh and hot! You're weird! No fun!
Again.
Hello!
You've been practicing.
I try my best!
Anybody else get anxious when they're waiting out here for the sliders to slide and they don't slide? Just waiting for, oh! Yes, like catching lightning. Can I tell you, I don't know who put that giant box inside that scare zone, but it just turned into a huge cluster, you know what. But anyway, I saw a couple of clowns that I saw from last year, and it was so cool to see them, because some of them I took photos of and they recognized me, and it's just like, I don't know, everybody was smiling and happy. It's good to see each other again, and just happy that the event is happening again. And then I was trying to get some natural shots of the sliders. They noticed me off to the side. I guess I'm not as incognito as I'd hoped. So they offered to take this clip for me. There's only so long I can go without going on a maze once they're all open. So let's start with the newest one, Roadside Stop and Shop. Just getting done. And wow, they really upgraded a couple of those rooms with a lot of detail. Like that was, I think I mentioned it before, that was one of the newer ones, or the newest maze for this year, replacing Cornstalkers. The maze felt a little bit like they had remodeled some rooms and then the others were kind of just Cornstalkery, if I could say that. Is that a term? I don't know. But thank you, Scare Actor, who offered me ladyfingers. It was very kind of you. I wish I hadn't eaten before I arrived at your chop shop. I haven't seen this before or seen it on the website, but it looks like they have a photo op, and all of them look like fairy tale creatures. Huh. gonna look around and see if I can make some sense of this. So I didn't even see that photo up on the map, so instead we're down here by the hollow. So the Hollow probably is one of my favorites. However, they've been calling this area Port of Call a scare zone, but I haven't really seen too many scare actors.
You want to watch me get sturdy? No, but there's a
So I saw some impressive costumes, but because there's not really much traffic moving, I think they're waiting for the first showing of Skeleton Crew. There's not too much going on here in terms of that. So I'm surprised they're here. They're really good atmosphere, you know? And the set with the broken ship is amazing. It's not exactly scary though. They're like attached to the theme bar over here. So I don't know. But we're not going to watch Skeleton Crew just yet. Instead, I want to do a few more mazes. Honestly, the line is looking only a tiny bit nutty. It's not too bad to me. Not too bad. That's probably what, like a half hour to 40-minute wait? Anyway, let's head in. I'm on the way back from Enigma, and this area just looks beautiful with all the fog and the temperatures dropping. It truly feels like spooky season. Well, let's talk about Enigma before we make our way over to the next maze. Great design. I think it got upgraded from last year, like big time. Last time I remember, the strobes were really not tuned too well, and it was just tough to navigate like real hard, and it made it unenjoyable. The scares were in awkward places, which is a little bit true for some rooms, but other rooms were vastly improved. I'm very thankful I was not the one leading that group, but if you're ever in a situation where the strobes are like disorienting you, and like in some situations there's fog and mirrors, just look at the floor. A lot of times these mazes or houses will have arrows indicating where you need to go. That being said, I noticed a lot of improvements with Enigma, but it does very much like tiptoe up to the line of where it starts to get uncomfortable and disorienting, and I think that might be the intention. It's a bit of a mess here over by Necropolis. You can kind of see there's a big crowd of people. But anyway, this is going to be our next stop. So, fun fact, I think that might be the first time I've gone through Necropolis and not had the group sprint ahead of me. They kept it at a nice pace. They actually kept to the path that the designers actually intended, instead of, you know, speed running the whole thing and going between the tombstones and everything and just confounding the scare actors. It's nice to actually see that, you know, this can be done in the way that it was intended. So big thumbs up. It's the first time in like, I don't know, 5 years that I've seen that happen. But overall, you guys know, if you looked up the POVs for this, you're going through a graveyard and there's fog, there's good lighting, and the scare actors are hiding behind the tombstones. Just overall, it's got such a cool vibe that it's always such a bummer when people get too scared and like run off or just go through it speed walking, you know? Next up, down here by Steel Force, we have Trick or Treat. Just went through Trick or Treat real quick. I'm not quite sure what the story is on this one, but I remember it being kind of one of the weaker ones. And I can't quite put my finger on why this one isn't as strong as it has like the potential. It's witches. Like they could definitely amp this one up a little bit, but I just can't put my finger on what feels like it's missing. Also, it might have to do something with the way that we were pulsed in. It was like a large group of like 20, And so you end up seeing the scare actor like stand around. If you're gonna pulse with that big a group, sorry, I'm messing with the fence shadow right now. But if you're gonna have that big a group, the boo holes or the places where the scare actors can reset to, they can't really be out in the open or just around the corner. It's no longer as effective. And maybe that's why it didn't feel like it was as strong. They need to kind of change up the scares themselves. I'm passing by the Lair here, and I'm not even sure if I can bring my camera. I thought it was a scare zone, but it has a line like a maze. I'm not really quite sure what to make of it. I'm gonna go ask. Well, there's your answer, and I think I just heard Skeleton Crew go on. I'm still undecided on the 9:15 or the 10:15 show. To what? My camera?
Oh shit!
I was curious to see what they were doing with the front of the park, so here we are. Let's explore a little. So it looks like they got the fog going. They have this big old monster truck here with the Haunt logo on it. Yeah, this looks awesome. What a fun pick right here that you could get, because the lighting is actually decent enough, just like that little kid is waiting for. Just beyond that, kind of maintains itself here. There's some spooky stuff. I really dig these giant skeletons that they have here. I kind of dig this. They turned this into like a really cool entranceway rather than having it as a scare zone. And I think it works, especially for like traffic flow and all that, because I know a lot of times things could get hung up in Steamworks prior. And then at the very end of the entranceway, what a cool photo op right at the end with that giant skull. This is new to me. I don't think we've had this before at this park. Amazing. All right, so there is also still one more scare zone. I want to try to find that, but first we're going to go ahead and go over this way where Enigma's at. I just realized I misspoke. This is Blackout. This one is completely in the dark. Every time I go in there, something weird happens. It's never been a smooth run, so let's see if today is any different. So sadly, as has been a tradition now, going on 4 years, or 3 events, we got super lost. Whoever was at the front started leading us towards one of the emergency exits. The scare actor had to kind of redirect us. We got through it eventually. There's a trick to getting through it, but I'm not going to tell it to you in case you come out here. Don't want you doing the whole thing on easy mode. So this scare zone, Dystopia, appears to be what replaced Steamworks, and it's now in the area that goes by where the opening Scaremony was. So let's go check it out.
Where's the burrito?
So the lighting, decorations, everything for Dystopia is rock solid. The location is tough. It goes right into the CarnEvil section, and there's not too much traffic in that area at this time of night. So I don't know if I caught like a good representation of it, but all the costumes and stuff remind me of like the Road Warriors or Legion of Doom or whichever it was in pro wrestling, and that just kind of makes me giddy a little bit. I don't know, but the main piece that I love is this back here, and you probably can't see it because it's a little blown out, but these lights are amazing. So I forgot to talk about Blood on the Bayou. It's one of my favorites here, like almost annually, and this year was no different. And a very special shout out to the group that I ran it with. They streamed like no other, and they watched my content, so like thank you so much. Every room is styled like so nicely, and just in general the scares are really done well. The layout is really cool, and the vibe in general, like that Southern Bayou type of vibe, is just, it's chef's kiss. Now arrived at the very end of the night. It's about 10:40 right now, and there's one maze left, and that is the tourist trap. But before we head on in, let's talk a little bit about the skeleton crew. Now, it was a little bit different from last year, and I recognized that fire guy from Grand Carnival over the summer, which is pretty cool to see him back. And then I do not know how somebody spins that much. Whatever you want to call that rope thing that he was hanging from, how do you spin so much and not get super dizzy? I do not know. And the sear wheel, I think I'm starting to become obsessed with sear wheel because I kind of want to learn myself. Maybe one of the ones that I've connected with someday will give me a lesson or two. That would be pretty cool. And then, of course, the trampoline. The wall tramp is so cool. I've seen it at Six Flags. I've seen it here. I've seen it at Cirque du Soleil even. So, I don't know. I'm always down to see some of that. So all in all, real awesome. Love that show. And next up is the last maze and the last attraction to do for the whole event, and then I can say I've done it all. So I forgot that they pull a sneaky on us, and that is not the fast lane entrance over here. It's actually over this way. Oops. Uphill. Oh man, my calves are feeling these hills. These Dorney hills. Alright my friends, sadly, it is that time. Finished up the last maze of the evening with Tourist Trap, which, if you guys don't know, it's kind of themed after that like murderous hotel from Chicago, which the name is escaping me, but it was during the turn of the century, like 1890s type of thing, where it's a long maze, and I was, for some reason, the one in the front, and they kept getting the dude behind me in my group, because I guess I was cueing them like, oh hey, they're coming, be on the lookout for the second guy, I guess. But it's a long maze, and you just keep going and going through this house that has like catacombs and just like walls filled with skeletons and bodies, and it's like real intense. But you start off that whole thing in just like this little like, oh, you're checking into the hotel, la la la, and it's all chipper and dandy. Really crazy vibe. It's probably like my second favorite after Death on the Bayou, to be honest. But that's just favorites. It doesn't mean anything objectively, if you know what I mean. But anyway, once that was over, I found that I had enough time to go get some crab fries with extra cheese, and it was delicious. And then I sat down and thought, as I had my crab fries, how was tonight? It was a little more crowded, but it's only the second night and the first Saturday of Halloween Haunt. So it was definitely going to be busy, even though it's only mid-September. The other thing I was thinking about is how they did with the new maze, and I love the way that they kind of modded corn stalkers, kept a bit of corn, but overall the theme feels better. It doesn't smell like sweat and blood. Like, that was one of the rougher things. I have a very distinct sense memory of being in Cornstalkers with all of that. But no, the Roadside Stop and Chop, like, I think that's the perfect thing for that space. And the first couple of spots, like rooms, really got me. As for the show, I forgot to mention about that. We can all pat ourselves on the shoulder. Hecate's told us we helped overthrow the Overlord, or banish him, or wherever he is. I don't know where he is. But I noticed that they were using his costume down in the Hollow. Is that where he was banished to? I'm not sure. I wish somebody out there, is there like a wiki or something for this? Because it does change year after year. So like the opening Scaremony was different last year. That's when the Overlord went bye-bye. And now Hecate's is like celebrating and bringing in new friends. I don't know what to make of it, but it was pretty cool. But unfortunately, I think all the clowns have taken down the tents, and Hecate's is probably reading a bedtime story to the Illuminightmares girls. So I shall bid you good night myself. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Hi, my name is Madison.
I'm Abby. I'm Jade. And we're making our own adventure.